Perhaps you've been considering solar panels. Well, the mayor's launched a program that makes them cheaper and easier to get. It's aimed at both homeowners and small businesses. Here to tell us about it is Greenovate Boston fellow Benita Hussain. Benita, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Benita, first off, just what is Greenovate Boston?
So Greenovate Boston is Mayor Menino's new sustainability initiative. We just launched it this year, and the whole idea behind it is to help engage the community, our Boston's residents and small businesses and large businesses and institutions around taking climate action and helping reduce Boston's greenhouse gas emissions. It's based out of the mayor's climate action plan, which came out in 2011, which set out certain carbon footprint reduction goals for the city of 25% by 2020 and 80% by 2050. So fairly aggressive, but yeah.
I was watching Nova last week, and on the subject of the power of the sun, and they said more energy from the sun hits the earth in an hour than the entire planet uses in a year, and that factoid sort of impressed me. So how can our viewers get in on solar power? On solar power,
yeah. So we are really excited because just last week we launched our second iteration of the solar program, which you just alluded to. Mayor Menino's Renew Boston program is basically based in our out of our energy office. It's just taking a large step back. So our climate action plan, which I just referred to, indicates that about 30% of the carbon emissions coming out of Boston are from the built environment, and in order to meet the targets that I had just listed, 11% of it could possibly be reduced by using renewable energy sources. So it was really important for the mayor to sort of launch this opportunity for small businesses and residents to have access to solar panels, which is why we now have Renew Boston solar program.
So in general, which homes are best suited to get the greatest benefit out of solar panels?
So this particular program targets 1 to 2 family homes with and they're very particular about sort of the physical space. So we're talking about pitched roofs with north and south facing faces, which is the best way to really capture the sun throughout the day, and hopefully not too much shade over those solar panels over that roof. So that's really what we're targeting at this point.
I know the mayor had some installed on his home in Hyde Park last year. In general, whether it's his house or just more important across the city, do we know anything about how the installations from last year are working out so far?
Yeah, well, the mayor is actually very excited about being sort of leading by example in the city, having those solar panels on his roof. They've done great work in terms of helping him save energy. So he basically put, and this is sort of public information, $500 down to have this installation done. This is a sort of the 2012 program that we had launched. Yeah. And through that program, he saves about $16 to $20 a month, so about $200 a year in energy bills. And that's because he's able to sort of through the agreements that were signed for the installation, was able to lock in lower rates for energy use from the utility company. So about 12 cents per kilowatt hour versus 15%, which is basically the market rate.
One thing just occurred to me, this is not necessarily the power from your panels powering your devices. There's many more intermediate steps. It's not quite the power from the sun powers your TV or your washing machine.
Sure. There's a whole engineering field based in solar power, and these panels are specifically made for small scale developments. The ones that we see, certain universities will have, or large farms, agriculture fields will have large scale solar panels, and we're talking about PV fields. So it is a very complex technology that I'm not necessarily an expert in, but yes, certainly it's not a direct sun to energy use.
So over time, how much could an average person save?
Well, just judging by Mayor Menino's house, he's saving about $200 a year in energy use.
And I think you just told me he put down about $500. But in general, how much do they cost to install? And what are the city and other parties doing to, make it more affordable?
Sure. So there are this particular program has 2 types of payment forms. There's basically a lease to purchase option, which is quite affordable. In this iteration that we have this year, it's actually no cost down. And consumers can pay for the amount of energy they use throughout the contract. And at the end of the contract, in Mayor Menino's case, it was a 20-year contract, there will be an option to purchase based on a variety of factors. But it's a very cost-effective method. Like I mentioned, you can lock in rates that are lower than market through the utility agreement. And then the other option that is possible is just to purchase outright these solar panels on your roof. And right now we're looking at about $3.60 a watt, or about, if totally out of pocket, about $7,000 for a system. However, it's a really interesting program because right now that is about 10 to 15% discounted from what a private company would offer, because we're offering a bulk rates. So thinking about it as Costco, instead of just doing individual solar panels, we're doing group pricing. So again, that's about 10 to 15% discount on what a market rate would be. But then if you add in the state tax incentives and the federal tax incentives, both of which are trying to incentivize that solar panel that you were just talking about, we can knock down that to about $4,000. So it's quite a bit lower than the market rate would be. Something
I was just thinking of, if somebody's interested in a green economy, they might also be interested in recycling. What is the lifespan of a solar panel? I mean, will a new and better solar panel technology be coming along in 2 years or 10 years, and can these things be recycled, or do they may perhaps stay on your roof for 20 or 30 years?
Well, it certainly could stay on your roof for 20 to 30 years, and we have hired Next Step Living, who is basically a full-service energy company that is helping educate consumers on how to maintain these solar panels. They'll help with certain types of maintenance, and sort of hopefully we'll keep up with the technology, but we are looking for at a 20 to 30 year use. In accordance with some of these contracts.
Okay. And a tough one as we near the end of this for a local person to answer, but why should emissions in Boston be cut down if climate change is supposedly caused by emissions from all over the world?
And you're right, climate change certainly is, it's a global issue, and what the beauty of Greenovate Boston and the Mayor's Climate Action Plan is that we're really hoping that Boston can lead by example. As we know, Boston is a coastal city that is very, very dramatically affected by storm surges and extreme weather, so it was really important for the mayor to come out and say, you know what, we're a leader in the United States, we're a leader in the region, it's up to us to actually create these new thresholds for carbon emissions, that is reducing our whole carbon footprint, and really showing the United States and the world that cities, if we all band together, these large urban centers, we can actually make an impact if we do it all together.
Well, this has been very helpful, and obviously people are going to want more information on this. Where can they get it?
Absolutely. You can go to either greennovateboston.org or solar.renewboston.org. And Renew Boston, again, that energy program, will be hosting a series of workshops throughout the city. So you just have to go to the website to find out when those information sessions are.
And this will stimulate some local jobs?
Absolutely, yeah. It's Next Step Living, again, that contractor I was just referring to. They've done an enormous amount of development over the past few years because of all of the solar demand, as you already mentioned. And we're really excited because they hire locally. They do energy efficiency programs in addition to the solar program. And they're just one of our sort of pet stories when it comes to local green job growth.
Okay. Well, thanks again for being with us. From Greenovate Boston, Benita Hussain. Up next, Chris Harding previews a new production of Romeo and Juliet at Dorchester's Strand Theatre after this message.